Alright, 2017-07-01 LibreCAD User Extensive Manual 1.1 LibreCAD Coordinate Panels. Below the drawing area on the left-hand side of the two coordinate panels, the lower upper coordinate shown as absolute coordinate x, y, and z of the point. Left lower coordinate panel shows absolute polar coordinates, distance, angle of the point. Right upper coordinate panel shows the relative absolute coordinate x, y, and z for the last previous point, and that's an at symbol. Right lower coordinate panels relative polar coordinates, distance, and angle from the last previous point. Description of various systems is explained below. Absolute Cartesian coordinates. When you type the line command, enter for the first point x20, y3, to the second point x25, y10. You are using absolute Cartesian coordinates. These measured by 0, 0, 0. These are measured from 0, x, y, and z. When typing negative minus numerals, these lines may not show on screen of the unit coordinated system in the bottom lower left-hand corner of the drawing area. Using zoom extent sees all that you have drawn. Using absolute coordinate, if often necessary in real life, can be time-consuming, causing inaccuracy to enter. Relative Cartesian coordinate. Relatively often you don't need to know the position of object of the universe in order to draw it. Relative Cartesian coordinates only have the meaning of the previous specified, not to and 0, 0 location. Examples: at negative 5, 0, horizontal line is picked point to the left, down or minus 5 units long. The x-axis, y is unchanged. 0 to 5 is vertical line picked down to the left. Bound to the y-axis, units long. The axis is unchanged. 0 to 5 is a vertical line picked 5 units along up the y-axis. 5, 0 is a horizontal line picked point right up positive 5 axis long. Y is unchanged. The system is often used in blocks where the components are either by many locations and fixed in that position with a base point with a block with a known with a coordinate and location different than that other block. This is the block at a part of the house brick wall made of bricks, each of its base point on a different coordinate. System often uses the objects drawn 90-degree angles to form mostly with a vertical horizontal line. These lines are called orthogonal lines. Relative coordinate. Thinking about other placement before drawing the first line, start picking up the point somewhere over the drawing area about 1/3 width from the left, about 1/3 of the height of the drawing area. Drawing object for the upper right over this point. It says of the object finalized, you can use zoom extent, center of the object drawing area. A simple way of drawing to set up vertical line, cross horizontal line, using offset, also known as parallel. Other lines from these two initial lines. These way you only need to put into offset distances for much of the drawing. This direct distance entry specify the start point of the line and specify the next point, or undo prompt moves the mouse in the direction where you want the line to go, horizontal, vertical, and types the line's length. 1.4 absolute polar coordinates. Knowing the distance angle from point 0 x, y, and z 0, 0, 0. Absolute polar colors less than symbol on your keyboard indicate angle start point from 0, 0, 0. Show the absolute power absolute polar 0 x 0, 0 type at before numerals indicating distance, then the less than symbol with no space, and required angle number of numerals in degrees. At 20 less than 45 gives you 20 units at the angle of 45 degrees counterclockwise from horizontal. Put another way, this is like a clock hour hand and would be at 1:30. Alright, if you do not know the length of overestimated, you can always then trim the excess. Relative polar coordinates. Knowing the distance of the angle point over the previous point, but you do not know the location of the object, you use the relative coordinates, meaning the relative of the previous point. Object is floating in space, just as the plot of the land showing the house of the land contours may be connected with a country map system. Show relative points, type at before the numeral separated by a comma with no spaces. Location below 0 in 2D XY planes have a minus sign before numeral. At 2 minus negative 2, 2 units horizontal to the right and to the direction, 2 units below the y direction. In 3D XYZ planes, most commonly used by me. If you do not know the length, overestimate, you can always trim the excess. 1.6. Use coordinate restricted within area border. Look for the command line for the channel of the box set at the bottom of the right side. Drawing area. When you trigger the drawing command, let's say with the 2 points that you ask the command line to specify the points, you can set with these absolute coordinates XY relative to the last point with a relative 0 and represent with a red circle. You have to type an at in front of the coordinates x, y, and z, or x and y. Relative zero position can also be set by setting relative zero position command. You have to set the proper snap mode for this. For some drawing operation, additional bars appear where you can enter the values before defaults and somewhere at the top of the drawing of the right 3-line modification box let us out for this. Alright, drawing etnies. The best drawing with drawing mode and printing in print preview mode. You can draw in print preview mode, but some things like snap, indicator, cursor, crosshair, and grid are not functional. Check arrows and hatch remains in size no matter the extent of zoom in and zoom out. 1-1, copy the entities to another layer. Select any the existing layer, copy it by Control C. Create the new layer and keep it inactive. Paste the entity with create Control K. C to the new layer. If this does not work, refer to the option bar, Application Preferences, Defaults tab. Ensure you have the box with a tick. There will tooltip, modify layer, selected entities, layer activation, refer to tooltip. Also, refer to subsection, modify properties, modify attributes in the April 27, 2016 forum. Alright, lines. Before having a line over another line, as it can read as one line, it can cause problems whether printing, hatching when it can show. It's best to hatch lines one continuous polyline you can remove easily, especially with a special layer named hatch or a construction line now printed. You might have to one end of the line away with a location grid to check if another line is beneath it. Change the appearance of the end line with a square end, butt end style, present default, the round end style, will refer to LibreCAD form December 28, 2006 line end style. Alright, 1-1, construction line. These lines are locations of all some line with a new drawing without specifying any layers, line weights, or line types, layout, the pointer maker with a new layer. That is not a construction line. Give the descriptive name, set a layer to the current layer, set line weight, 0 thickness at 25 hundredths of a millimeter. Initially increase the thickness layer required line type. If not, continuous layer will be given print layer setting eventually. Make a new layer called construction, similar set by the bilayer. Yellow cyan can be easily seen. Line weight should be set at 0 thickness. Line type to be continuous, set at non-print. You may decide to leave the reference entities that you are not visible on the print. All straight construction lines, infinite length, they can extend with the screen in both directions. Example, make sure snap on the grid is enabled. If used and switch off later, go to the menu, tools, lines, horizontal line, draw a line through the 0 by clicking anywhere on the y-axis 0, the lower edge of the drawing area. Show the vertical line menu bar with the tool lines, vertical lines. Add a second line perpendicular to the first line with the x is 0. The left at most edge of the drawing. Now we need to set up at the top and right most extent of the drawing. The distance we know of the hand drawn shown in 200 millimeter wide, 100 millimeter high. Which the menu bar, tools, line, parallel, second variety of the list distance of the text input box with the top of the drawing along the 3-line color, white to line type windows. Enter 200 in the box. Now when you anywhere in the right of the vertical line sphere, a short indicator will appear with the X 200 mark. Or this will show you where your line will be placed. Lift the mouse click to place a line. You can do that if you could, but do not exit this command at the point of the right mouse clicking. Similar parallel process, horizontal type line 100 bottom of the already done, and now you have 200 by 100 box. Once all your construction lines are drawn, add a new layer with a descriptive name and the type of the construction layer. To do this, reframe the ticking box layer setting window and set 0 width lines. Use the 2500 millimeter black lines. Ensure snap intersection button is to press show blues color indicating it's turned on. 7 draw outline over the box and print. This will print as is a construction layer. You can toggle between construction and normal mode 3 ways. Open the layer list with which the right-hand side drawing area, the auxiliary window layer list activity. Active right mouse click window area pound icon perhaps symbolizes construction lines for a square. Will turn green as on. When you choose last item fly out, toggle construction layer. Repeat, the green icon will toggle off. Right mouse click on the layer and layer list window. Choose toggle construction layer last on list. Click checkbox on the layer setting window to access checkbox auxiliary window layer. List active right mouse click window area, select edit layer attributes for item up to the flyout, and the layer setting will open so you can click on the tick square checkbox. To set unset this construction, the old helper layer feature may go into main menu, layer edit menu, and layer setting. Window tick, untick, construction layer box. Similar materials also found in section layers, subsection construction layers. Alright, drawing orthogonal lines, command and control tap. Tap the required direction, number, keypad, arrow. After drawing an orthogonal line, as you say, one side of the wall, input with the command like the line of distance presence with control number pad arrow in the direction you require to line to be parallel. Additionally, you have the input the distance 100 command line. Remember the distance you can just hold the control command for Mac and continue pressing the arrow keys. Require parallel lines 100 millimeter distance vertical or desired input 100 to command line. Press control up gives this point. Another method is to produce the lines on the keyboard. Left or 100 left or L50 is the left less than 50 left than 50 distance relative. R50 or lowercase R50 right 50 distance relative. Up 50 U50 or upper and lowercase less than up to 50 distance relative. D50 or D50 lowercase D50 down 50 distance. Alright, another method to produce lines using movement of the mouse. First, we pick up the first point of using a mouse down, and we know the length of the line is 1,000 millimeters. Move the mouse in the direction of the line, then we enter for the length of the 1,000. Press the enter of the space light. Line will generate 1,000 units into the direction of the previous mouse move in the December 7th, 2015 forum. Line 1-3, drawing offset line, other etny. If you have lines run about 45-degree angle orientation of the grid, the other lines at 90-degree angle of them, how do I get to be 90 degrees with no grid to work from? Use line orthogonal line, angle, modify, rotate. Drawing with offset line or other etny, command O, offset would be 0, O. Special distance, specify the distance 1 and select etny or through. You can type offset or O, the command line. LibreCAD prompts the specific distance 1 or selected etny through. You can enter the number of the command line using the tools option toolbar. You can select through option. The default option is clicking near etny with including side of the you wish to place off the offset. Offset works on lines, polylines, but only on one segment. Circles are arc polygons, but only one segment. Offset does not work on ellipses, Bezier curves, and not the way you would expect. Alright, 1-5, drawing parallel lines. Commands for parallel is PAR, specific distance 1, or selected entity through. Your type of the parallel or PAR on command line seems to have the same function as the offset command. A tool option of the drawing area of the two adjustment can be made with the spacing of the copy. Spacing check over the menu bar option. Drawing preference grid tab. Tick grid settings spacing 1 and X spacing 1, Y spacing 1. Then set the line set spacing 1 to 1 equal 1 millimeter. This will if I want 100 millimeter offset, I will type 100 millimeter. Type in 100. Copies default is 1, permits 99 copies. If you set 0, this permit will offset the polyline once it has needed indefinite until command cancel. Spacing bit experience could allow you to make the non-standard thicker lines or experiment white space, caution, ensure center line, middle of the line, or is any of the grid not on the edge of the line. Use grip reposition is found. Experimental success space is placed. White space results on template. Alright, 1-6, line width, line weight. Line widths are shown provided as 013, 018, 025, 035, 050, 07, 1, 14, 2. Change line width through menu, toolbars, modify properties, dialog. See width of lines beneath with a zoom to see width. Line width is not shown in draft mode, is enabled, it's not shown to seen to check see your units in millimeters drawing preference. If they are set to your required units, draw lines 10 to 15 millimeters long. Zoom in should be the line width, not remaining thin line. Refer to export drawings. Inquiry August 13, 2014. Question asked the LibreCAD form regards to line weight being printed being same regardless scale printout, which he observed and should be the line will be at scale as well. Answer given this is by design 1, width being printing independent of the drawing unit scale 2. Drawing scales are defined by user, differ scalings by printed physical dimension. Answer is not understood by initial writer elaborated further. Or 1.7, line width and polyline, short form, non-found use, under drawing area with the toolbar 3, menu, tools, polyline, 5 down, use command either with the under drawing area, 3rd toolbar, menu, tools, polyline, under down, create equivalence and polyline, 2nd on the list, tool opens, top of the drawing area with the 2 adjustments can be made, spacing and copies. Spacing, check on the menu bar, options, drawing preference, grid tab, take grid settings, and spacing 1, X spacing 1, Y spacing 1, then set the line, set spacing 1, equals 1 millimeter. This way you have 100 millimeter offset will provide 100. Copy the default 1 permits 99 copies. If you set 0 permits your offset with the polyline 1 and needed indefinitely until command is canceled. Spacing a bit experience could allow you to make non-standard thicker lines experimental with the white space caution and ensure center line, middle line is any of the grid, not edge of the line. User grips reposition found with the experimental success place of the white space result on template. Alright, 1.8, line type scale. AutoCAD calls the LTS scale, line type scale. There are no LibreCAD equivalent. You can scale the line to type, but there's a workaround such as flight stairs where you want to show parts of flight and broken line. Sometimes steps are above the drawing cutting line, just as different line type. A scale 1 to 100, drawing dash, small dash, tiny will do. You can change the line type by modifying properties, selecting line, or modifying attributes. This allows you to select properties that needs. Finish selection with enter. 1.9, white space. Understanding white space will minimize the blurred lines withdrawn with a line too close to another line. Allows the select the most suitable line weight with line location. We draw 1 to 1 and print and reduce size of the large object. White space scales between objects, so it will also reduce. We can add the blurred lines on the point. Consider another situation, timber door to actually gap around 2.5 millimeters between the door and the frame so that the door does not stick and bind on an opening. The door and frame detail may have different line weights. The frame is visually weightier than the door, so large scale joinery detail you may show the gap of the white space. How do we do this? You have 2 parallel 1.2 millimeter lines drawn. Center lines 1 millimeter apart. Each of the door overline laps. Others read it as one thick line. No gap. White space between the 2 lines. If you change the line width of the 2 lines to 2500 millimeters, you will see a white space. White space is system reading of the drawing. White space is too wide. We'll lose connectivity between the 2 objects, or too narrow will close clarity. Determine the width of the white space and aesthetic consideration subject. The publication of the International Perspective on Maps and Internet, page 39, figure 3.5, suggests white space of 1500 to 2/10 of a millimeter needed between map lines. Width 1 pixel wide. 2 lines are not clearly separated when rendered with the W flash plate 9. 1 pixel is 0.2646 millimeters, which taken 4 decimal places. Publication figure 3.5 shows various width gaps between black objects. The gaps are 0.5, 1.0, 1.52 pixels wide. These gaps are 0.323, 0.2646, 0.369, 0.5292 wide. Beginning with a paragraph, we advise the 1 pixel appearance of the insufficient with a white to measure the eyes of the 1.5 pixels. 369 map gap provides the best connectivity, clarity, balance, and white space. With the information presented with the previous paragraph, white space guide can be prepared first option. Drawing series lines of the 20 millimeter long correspond thicker line weights, the line weight colors using preferably space 0.369 or 1.5 pixel gap each pair of lines. Note that not the center line of the line to the center line of the joining line and half of each of the projects with the white space. Therefore, we need to obtain a total width of 2 lines divided by 2 Divide this hole by 2 there. Center line with the center dimension line weight number 1 and line weight number 2. Divided by 2 pixel gaps. Scales that will be printed 1 by 1 or larger. Follow the following: line weight number 1 line plus line weight number 2 divided by 2, 1.5 pixel actual gap 1 to 2 line weight number 2 pixel by 3 pixel gap or 2 times actual gap width. 1.3 line weight number 1 plus line weight number 2 times 2 divided by plus 4.5 pixel gap or 3 times the actual gap width. 1.1 to 4 line weight 1 plus line weight 2 times 3 times plus 6 pixel gap or 4 times the actual gap width, each proportional. For scale drawings, they will be printed in scale smaller than 1 to 1. Line weight number 1, line weight number 2, 2 pixel gap, skip space. Scale drawing, when drawing reduced scale, white size spacing will become 1.5 pixel width gap. We can reprint the guide 2 by 3 by 4 pixel wide. We want a comparison purpose for the 1 straw 1 by 1 scale. We can easily print with the guide to suit any drawings, scaling drawing. While working almost instantaneously, sheet from black and white desktop copy, printed line weight colors, white space for drawing suitable for print. We need only do ones. This is because we're talking about white space from making readable or printed drawing. Other options such as Apache OpenOff spreadsheet. Some clever programmer will set up to a LibreCAD using calculator command type formula. International per second max on the internet, edited Mitchell Michael P. Person, published 2008 by Springer, and then it gives the ISB number. Program 2 skins brickwork to 100 millimeter wide will have 50 millimeter cavity between them. 2 walls outer lines are drawn with a line weight of 0.5 millimeter lines either side of the 50 millimeter cavity, drawn 0.35 line weight. When the printed 1 to 100 scale cavity appears overweight, solution using information above reduce the cavity line weight to the next line. 110 modified properties, command MP prompt shorten map menu modified properties 5 up and we'll read the last 5 on fly out. If you recently used properties, left mouse click on the line with the properties. If you want properties, change the color line type when you pick. The options: modify layer, pen color, width, line type, geometry, start X and Y, end at point X and Y. Refer to modifying line attributes. If you do not change the appearance, or check the main menu options, application preference, appearance tab, graphic colors, when what selected line window opens. Options: you can change laser, pen color, width, line type, geometry, start X and Y, end X and Y. Refer to check modifying line attributes. Change the color, left mouse click colors, overdrawn with the down arrow, select the color you want. Change the width of the level, left mouse click cursor over down arrow, select the color you want. Change the line type, mix mouse click when over down arrow, select the color you want. You can adjust geometry by changing the value. Alternative to the area of the tool menu, selecting menu tools, modifying 6 up of flyout properties, and the 5th up flyout line windows opens after clicking on the change of the color line type. Line window opens. Option: you change the layer, pen color, width, line type, geometry, starting X and Y, end X and Y. Note line weight is visible on the screen if zoom is close. If it does not change appearance, check menu options, application preference, appearance tab, graphic colors for what is selected and the line window opens. Alright, layer types, benefit, disadvantages. We're going to type the tape there.